Welcome to the Emerging Lawyer series at the Coffee Corner Show powered by the Emerging India Forum TIF and a tech partner Prime Infotech Solution. Theme is AI, M&A, and the ethics of it all. The legal mind of Janhvi Pradhan Deshmukh. In a world where the law must keep pace with algorithms, boardrooms, and social transformation, Janhvi Pradhan Deshmukh stands as a singular force in modern legal strategy. She's a partner at Helios Legal. With nearly 2 decades of cross-border experience, she has worn many hats: M&A advisor, AI policy strategist, gender-neutral governance advocate, and compliance mentor across sectors like tech, media, real estate, and health. As a founding partner at Helios Legal and a trusted advisor to high-growth businesses and institutions alike, Janvi doesn't just practice law; she pioneers it. In this episode, we unpack her multidimensional career, her passion for ethical innovation, and how dance, discipline, and diversity inform her courtroom courage and corporate counsel. So, welcome, Janvi, to today's Coffee Conversation episode.
Thank you so much, Amir. So nice to be here.
So, let me explain. There are three rounds: professional, personal, and a surprise rapid fire round where you have to be witty, fun, and quick, and use inspiration legal AI 101, which will autograph and send to you.
Great. Okay.
So let's begin. Friends, I'm Lion Amir Virani, host at Coffee Corner, legal tech evangelist at Prime Infotech Solution, uh, author of 15 books. We help law firms, corporate legal startup, SMEs, world-class technology, software licensing, and tech training solutions. So my first question, Janvi, how has this journey shaped up, and what were the key defining moments you had?
So I grew up in a very traditional Maharashtrian family, very academic oriented. So during childhood, dance and books were always my companions, and I grew up in a environment which valued a lot of discipline and creativity and integrity, for that matter. And my father always encouraged me to be extremely independent. Of course, I'm a single child, so they encouraged me to be very independent. At the same time, my mother instilled a lot of warmth in me. And I truly believe that the values that I got as a child actually shaped my journey. Dance made me realize that you have to be graceful in any situation, and there's a lot of stamina, focus that is required in dance, and all that actually came together to shape my journey.
Wow. So from fintech to pharma, your client portfolio is diverse, Janvi. How
Yeah.
do you tailor your legal strategies to match the pulse of each sector?
Um, I truly believe you have to be a good listener. So while pharma and fintech might seem very different, fintech is a lot of speed. You have to align with the changing technological landscape, while pharma is a lot about consents, patient confidentiality. Um, but at the end of the day, it is a lot of cross pollination of ideas. So you listen, you embed yourself in what the business is, what is the ethos, or what is the soul of a particular business, whether it is pharma, whether it is fintech, whether it is real estate. While they may seem very different from each other, the background is the same. You have to use cross pollination, and I actually believe that being a generalist helps me to do that, because I actually apply a lot of ideas that maybe I use for a fintech, or maybe I use for a pharma, and I sort of then interchange and use it for each other. It gives a lot of out of the box perspective and a different flavor to every field.
Wow. So I'm hearing from very few coffee speakers who call themselves as journalists. So you're one of them. There is another, let me recollect, Vanika Sharma.
Mm.
So that was beautifully asked, okay, what do you mean by journalist? So that's another topic. But I want to do this conversation by encourage uh, young legal professionals to they can have a mix of niche or being a journalist. So she's
That's a
enjoying being a journalist.
huge topic for
Yes.
discussion.
Yeah. Okay. So let's dive deep in conversation. AI governance and data privacy are hotbeds of regulatory flow. How are you helping businesses navigate this evolving landscape?
Well, AI is fire. Simple. It can either keep you warm or it is going to burn you. So you have to treat it like fire. And what is important is to build very, very robust internal AI use policies, ethical guidelines, data governance. So whether the regulators ask for it or don't ask for it, that's not the point. Okay. You cannot always wait for the law to arrive. You have to be proactive. You have to build internal checks and balances before somebody asks for it. And there's one important question that I always tell my clients to ask: just because you can do it, should you do it? So it's about shifting from capability to responsibility. So, yeah.
Wow. So I'll devote this section to AI. How do you embed ethical consideration into fast moving digital transformation projects, especially in AI and data driven businesses?
Um, so ethics has to be a part of the system right from the designing phase. It can't be an afterthought. Okay, ethics, as much as building the system is important, ethics has to be there, right there, as a part of that journey. So for example, a client is building an AI tool. Okay. I always push them to consider bias. I push them to consider transparency. I push them to consider whether there are consents required, whether there are data consents required. So you have to consider this at prototype level. You can't like later think that, oh, there is already damage, or there is, there is damage and there could be a legal, repercussion. And at that time you decide that, okay, now I'm going to build in, some ethical consideration. No, that's not how it is. It ensures sustainability it in the longer run. So yeah,
Yeah,
maybe it takes time to build such an AI system, but yeah, it gives you far better gains in the longer run.
beautiful. So, with the current roles at Supervise, Real One International, how do you split focus between AI policy and high stakes real estate legalities?
Again, like I said earlier, real AI, real estate, very different. Okay. If you sort of just go through the layers, you will find somewhere they are aligned. Okay. With respect to real estate, it is very important to have razor sharp focus on paperwork, um, title documents. How has the title flowed from one person to the other? Compliance, zoning, etc., etc. AI, ethical considerations, bias, and everything. Okay, so at the end of the day, isn't razor sharp focus required in AI? It is required. Isn't ethical consideration required in real estate? Yes, it is. So at the end of the day, it's the same. I don't consider myself as, having to do something different between both. Again, switching between them, it's not about compartmentalizing. I use this word very often, but it is about cross pollinating the ideas, and every field sharpens me for the other.
Wow, beautiful. So, as someone involved in POSH ethics committee and AMLL frameworks, how do you balance compliance with company culture?
Um, a lot of companies have compliance only on paper. It's a tick box. Okay, this is a very politically incorrect statement, but it is a tick box. You have policies because you want to have policies, and because it is required to have policies. Okay, and it doesn't work like that. You have to be extremely mindful, because that builds the culture, and culture means people, and people will make up your business, right? So as a posh consultant, if I see that founders are just doing posh because they want a tick mark, I usually refuse that client. I don't want to take up that client because I go into understanding the culture. I go into understanding the psyche behind the business, and which is what
Yeah.
helps me to build very, very robust policies, whether it is posh or whether it is any other policies.
Wow. So, Johnny, how do you see legal frameworks adapting to the challenges of gender neutrality and inclusive governance in India?
Um, we are in midst of a shift, an entire like um how do I put it? We seeing a shift in the mindset in India. Okay, gender neutrality is slowly moving from just tokenism to actual policy, to actual, robust policy building. Companies are being pushed to recognize, we just had male and female, but companies are recognizing other other genders. LGBTQA plus is being recognized. As a posh expert also, I build policies which are inclusive. I encourage building of policies which are inclusive. There's a lot of intersectional representation that is now happening in decision making spaces. So in India, the journey is of course very new, still very uneven, not linear. But I'm seeing a lot of growth. The momentum now that we have gained is now irreversible. So we are in interesting times, and as a lawyer, I feel like my role is nudging the boards slowly to accept the fact that we are moving towards this shift, and to accept this shift so that it's easier to deal with the newer generation that is being recruited.
Yeah, beautiful. Some of the law firms have got apna DEI policies
Yes,
and
yes,
culture.
absolutely, absolutely. And it's beautiful to see, so much of diversity, so much of inclusion, and great part is it's really not just on paper.
Yes, I know. So, Janvi, you often worked with boards and leadership teams. What makes a legal voice truly boardroom ready?
Wow. Okay. Three things: clarity, courage, context. Simple. Okay. Nobody wants to see a 20-page agreement anymore. Boards have only 2 minutes. They want to understand. They want extreme clarity in 2 minutes flat. Nobody is reading a 20-page document. Okay. Courage. I always say this: as lawyers, we have to have the courage to speak the truth, to speak the uncomfortable, and that is what we are paid for, that is what we are made for. So uh, yeah, clarity, context, and clarity, courage, context, and context is understanding the business. So you can't just read law and just align it to something. No, you have to understand the current scenario. You have to understand the history of a particular business. There's a certain context in which certain laws are interpreted that needs to be really, really understood. So these are the three very,
Wow,
very important things.
beautiful. So, Janu, according to you, what are the most common regulatory misconceptions startups and high growth businesses come up with?
um the first and the foremost is that a lot of companies, a lot of startups rather, feel that compliance can wait. Why do I need to spend money right now? Maybe I should scale, and then I am going to, you know, spend money on compliance. That's not needed right now. What is required is I build the business, and maybe then I will get a lawyer on board or a compliance expert on board. But that's one of the biggest mistakes and misconception that I can say. Also, one size fits all. Templatization and checklists do not work in the world that we are in. Everything needs to be customized. A checklist or a compliance checklist that works for pharma is very obviously not going to work for a fintech. So that one size fits all does not work. This I think are the two biggest misconceptions that startups work with, and they think it is okay to do it themselves. But what I always suggest is founders focus on business. Let the experts do what they are good at. So let them do the compliance.
Wow, beautiful. So let's go to your days at LLM doing at University of Sussex. Why did you select to go to University of Sussex, and how did it help in changing your perspective to international business laws?
Um, so before Sussex, why UK? Um, it's a very simple answer. It was a 1 year LLM. Okay. I was very keen because I had done 5 years of internship during my undergrad. I wanted to jump into my professional life quickly, but I wanted to have the exposure of an international degree as well before that. Um, which is why UK. And I frankly got admits to a lot of universities, and I chose Sussex because it was closer to London, and I had family there, I had friends there, etc. So it was a simple reason. How it shaped me was that in my class, of course, there were students from different nationalities. The way every jurisdiction deals with their own every issue, every legal issue was very different, and exchanging ideas was, I think it made me more solution oriented than just rigid by reading the Indian law. So right now, how it helps me, I think my approach of sorry, I think my approach of using global perspective to Indian problems and being solution focused comes from interacting with people from so many nationalities and understanding their perspective, how things are dealt with in their jurisdiction.
Wow. So how has the leadership style evolved over the years, Janvi?
Uh, hmm. I was, in my initial days, I was very, very hands on is a very pretty word, but I basically wanted to do everything myself because I thought that the quality suffers if I delegate. I did not also want to train anybody because I didn't want to spend time on training. But I realized when I set up my own law firm, I realized that you have to think like a strategist. You have to think like an entrepreneur. You can't, just think like a lawyer. And that completely changed my perspective. I knew I had to create the next line, somebody who I can rely on to hold fort while I go out and, have coffee with Amir or have coffee with, founders. So it's a journey. It's a journey. It's not that I realized it in day one. Burnt my hands a lot of times, but yeah, I think the day I started thinking like a strategist and an entrepreneur, things changed for me.
Wow. So my last one for your professional journey round, what advice would you give to young women lawyers who want to start their own law firms?
Um, the world is not easy. You will be judged as a woman. As much as we say that, we are open minded and we are gender inclusive, yes, we are. Of course, times are changing. But there will be times when you go for a meeting with a senior counsel and he will be talking to your junior because he's a male and not to you directly. Just walk your path. That's it. Okay.
Right.
Family is going to keep happening just because you don't, probably attend a couple of PTMs of your child or a couple of events or a couple of family functions. It does not make you any less committed to your responsibilities. Walk your path. And the journey to the top actually is lonely. Accept it and just walk.
Beautiful. So let's go to the next round and understand Janvi as a person. Tell us about your family and your formative years.
So I am a single child of my parents. My dad taught in Somaya College as a chemistry professor, and my mom worked with Bank of Baroda. So we come from very, very humble background, and the only focus at home was academics. So I was encouraged to give a lot of competitive exams. a lot of debates. I was always good with literary activities, creative writing, dance, of course. I started my dance journey when I was 5 years old, and that sort of shaped everything for me. And while I was the only child, there was a lot of freedom of thought at home. And even little decisions, I was allowed to take my own decisions. And that's really helped me right now as an entrepreneur.
Beautiful. Okay, so you talked about dance. So from the courtroom to classical dance, how has Kathak influenced your mindset or made instilled discipline in you?
Kathak is a lot of, you require a lot of stamina, you require a lot of
Mm.
focus. At the same time, Kathak means storytelling,
Yep.
right? So it actually helped me. There was one senior of mine um, during my UTV days who helped me understand that when you draft an agreement, it's a story you are telling. And I equated that to my Kathak, because in Kathak, any piece that we do, the Abhinay piece, we are telling a story. So it really shaped my professional journey. I don't know how, everybody will identify with that, but it really shaped my journey. And that focus of doing a 2 hour, 3 hour riyaz every day, probably doing the same things over and over and over again, doing the basics over and over and over again, brought a lot of focus in me.
Wow. So uh, you're a trained dance movement therapist, Janvi. That's impressive. How do you emotionally disconnect from the pressures of corporate legal work?
So, any stressful day, however late it is, you will probably find me taking short breaks, couple of minutes, 5 minutes. Um, I switch on music and I move freely. Now, moving freely is very important, because Kathak is a set of choreographed movements. It's structured movement. But in dance movement therapy, what we encourage is unstructured movement, because we express our emotions, we express what we are feeling at that point, and that moving freely sort of helps me, one, de-stress, two, probably also letting go of certain blocks that I may have had during the day.
Wow. So what's your favorite weekend escape when you're not drafting or decoding laws?
um I have this thing of checking Book My Show weeks before and booking Kathak ballets and recitals. And I do this alone. I like to do it alone. That's always on the top of my list. Um,
Mm.
Second, I love the sea. I am a complete sea person. Um, Taking a walk by the seashore, and even doing simple things like taking my daughter out for a drive, for a coffee. She's grown up; she's 15 plus now, so she's a great companion to me. More than my child, she's a friend to me. So it's interesting to hear her perspective on a lot of things. So yeah.
Wow. So which is the book or movie which has left a lasting impact on you?
Um, hmm. Maybe I will tell you about what I'm reading right now.
Yeah.
Um, I'm reading The Creative Space by Rick Rubin. It basically talks about creating a very non-judgmental space for artists, and it's not related to law at all. But for me, I find a lot of inspiration for my profession from my art, and I also think somewhere. Um, Law, my profession, corporate law, is about creating, and the book is opening up a lot of new perspectives for me. It's a lot about create your inner creativity, and how you should not be judging yourself as an artist, because as artists we are just bound to judge ourselves. So it's about that, and how art is more about honesty, not perfection. So yeah.
Wow. So let's go to your college days, government law college. What are your memories, experience from there?
I made lifelong friends. Number one, that's the top of my list. Because I think education, sare colleges dete hai. It's everywhere, right? I made lifelong friends. I made friends who are now very well placed in the legal world. I mean, it helps. Um, and other than that, I think it they were the best years of my life. Um, I interned right from my year one to year five. So I have this memory of running to catch a train at 5:30 in the morning, reaching college at 7, catching 3 hours of lecture, running to office. Um, it was hard work like never before and never after also, but it was the best time in my life.
Wow. So
Everyone
if your
had,
friends,
everyone had that fire. Everyone was so opinionated. There were like scores of committees, and everybody wanted to do moots, and everybody wanted to do debates, and it was fun.
beautiful. So if your friends had to describe you in 3 words, what would they say?
Hmm. Um, Disciplined for sure, dependable. जानवी ने हाथ में ले लिया तो हो ही जाएगा. So
Wow.
and expressive. My face has subtitles, so I cannot.
Wow.
It's difficult for me to stay non-emotional on my
Wow.
face.
So my last 2 ones are reflective. What are your plans for 2020? Now, few months are remaining, personally and professionally.
Um, hmm. Personally, wow. Okay. I need to read more as a lawyer. I need to find more time to read. So that's probably something that is on my list. Um, Professionally, I will talk about dance and my work as well. Dance, I do want to start taking up more performances, more stage shows.
Oh.
I plan to set up movement therapy sessions for the senior citizen group, which I'm very fond of when it comes to movement therapy. So that's something I really want to do by the end of this year. Professionally, I think things are going fine. I'm not sure I want to change anything, but right now is the time for me to really, really run fast, and enjoy the journey. So I think that enjoying the journey kabhi kabhi kam ho jata hai because the stress takes over. So I think I want to enjoy the journey more.
Wow. Okay. Since you're a Mumbaikar, uh, which is the favorite spot for
Ha.
food and to hang out?
Um, hmm, hmm, hmm. Is it too much to say that it's my home?
Okay.
But maybe, but if I let go of that, then maybe the beach. I am a beach person, so Juhu Beach, take a round. So yeah.
Wow, beautiful. So my last one, the googly one. Describe Janhvi in one line.
Arey bapre. Okay. Um, an artist by soul. Uh, a lawyer who definitely thinks like a strategist. Um, and someone with high integrity.
Wow. So, since Ganesh Chaturthi is coming up, uh, I will dedicate this episode to a Ganesh Chaturthi festival. What message would you like to give to our viewers out there for Ganesh Chaturthi?
Um, Ganesh Chaturthi, firstly, before giving the message, I would love to say it's one tradition in my family which we celebrate in like with a lot of enthusiasm. I keep Ganesh ji at home as well. The entire family comes together, and I think more than Diwali or more than Navratri, Ganpati is something that we really look forward to because the decoration, we all get together to put the decoration, and um, I think life is stressful. There is a lot happening around, but I would like to say that when there is a festival, whether it be Ganesh Chaturthi, now we're talking about it because Ganesh Chaturthi is coming close, but any festival for that matter, whenever you get that chance to be with family, take it. take it, because the journey is lonely and your family is they're the only people who are going to support you, walk with you no matter what, because your journey is going to be lonely. Let them walk with you. So take that chance to spend time with them, even if it means taking some time off your work.
Wow, beautiful. So let's put you on the hot seat, the rapid fire round.
Okay.
Litigator by day or Kathak performer by night?
Kathak performer by night.
AI or M&A?
M&A.
One word to describe your legal journey.
Adventurous.
Dream destination to retire in.
Oh my God. Some village in probably Italy or France.
Drafting contracts or debating policy.
Debating policies.
Legal idol who inspires you.
Sorry, legal?
Legal idol,
Nani Palkhiwala ji.
your go-to comfort food.
Pani puri.
Your favorite color.
Yellow.
Uh, Favorite Maharashtrian cuisine.
उकडीचे मोदक.
Wow. Okay. Tea or coffee to recharge.
Coffee. Any day, any day, any day.
Oh, you're the coffee share. So you did well, and here's a book which will be autographed and sent to you.
Thank you.
So, what an inspiring conversation this has been, Janhvi, a true trailblazer in AI, M&A, and ethical innovation. From navigating complex cross-border deals to shaping frameworks for inclusive governance, her journey reflects both courage and conviction. So, Janhvi, thank you for sharing your insights, your personal stories, and for reminding us that law is not just about mitigating risk. It's about enabling growth, empowering leadership, and creating lasting impact. To our viewers out there, if today's conversation sparked new ideas for you, stay tuned for more thought provoking episodes. Don't forget to subscribe to the Coffee Corner Show, where there are 500 plus coffee speakers sharing their professional personal journey. So, until next time, signing off. See you soon for another enriching coffee conversation, and we meet and continue the celebrations. Like August is full of festivals, and you're the first speaker where I have asked this message for viewers for
Amazing.
is Ganesh Chaturthi. So this is what spur of moment comes up and makes a special moment. So thank you,
Lovely.
Janhvi.
Thank you so much, Amit. Thank you.